Hey, good afternoon. I'm Chris, and as ever, something went wrong at the start of the show, and that means that the rest of the show is going to be great. If you believe me, you'll believe anything on that one. Okay, I'm Chris. This is the Old Geezer Show. It is the 1st of December 2022. I'm here to say good afternoon, welcome. Glad you could make it come along live. If you're catching this on catch up, as ever, on Facebook and on YouTube, of course, welcome to you as well. Don't forget that whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on catch up online, you can still make a comment and I'm still going to read it because I read every single comment, including the friendly ones, including the rude ones. I don't mind. Okay, but what I like most of all is people who make an interesting and sensible comment. Nicholas last week or earlier this week made some interesting comments about things, specifically about pensioners and loneliness and other aspects. We're going to come back to some of those, I think, a little bit in this show, because what I decided to do today was do a kind of update on what's happening. And I'm going to do that, I think, first off. We'll do a little thing which I wanted to do, which is to put up this comment and say that what you think and what your experience is what I'd like to hear. If you have specific things that you'd like to see mentioned on the show, or if you'd like to join me on the show, you're hugely welcome to do that as well. There is no problem. We've got interesting ways of putting people onto the show with us, video, voice, or whatever you want to do. You're hugely welcome, and your input is hugely important. Okay, so where are we going first? We're going to go to a couple of stories, or one story I think that is really that really rung my bells this morning, actually. And this was not a fun story, and it kind of got to me because it's a different aspect. I'm going to put a link to a story that's carried on from this one. I'll do that later this afternoon or this evening, because this story from Age Concern says that people in our age group expect this to be a really hard Christmas. But there's also some aspects that people say are affecting them. I couldn't find an easy little quote for that one on this, but the reality that Age Concern are pushing at, if you like, is that they are saying that many older people don't even expect to speak to anyone at Christmas. I find that really, really bothersome. Don't know about you. I find that really worrying, really annoying. They're saying that one person, maybe in 15 or 20 pensioners, won't speak to anyone, won't see anyone on Christmas Day. And I think that's bloody awful. We're supposed to be a more caring society, and maybe we are, maybe we're not. And my temptation is to say we're not. If you don't expect to see anybody, to talk to anybody on Christmas Day, then get in touch with me, because I'm planning to do a Christmas Day program. Why not? Let's have a get together on Christmas Day. I can't bring you around a glass of sherry, but I shall drink one with you. And if you get your sherry out, we'll have a chat. So let's just go back to this little story that I've got. I've got in front of me now. And this is really talking about some services that Age UK do. But I want to actually cover the full story. And so, as I said, I'm going to put that up later today as the full story. And then you can read about the bits that are concerning me and the bits I think that will concern you as well. Okay. That's concerning. I think people being on their own, especially at what are supposed to be family times of the year. I don't know how many people are on their own in the UK at Christmas. I've been on my own at Christmas, but bluntly, it doesn't worry me too much. But in reality, I think a lot of people can get depressed, can get fed up, really have a bad time because they're on their own. So let's see what we can do about that and see what we can say to people that will kind of help them along and maybe help them to get in touch with other people. Okay, the other one that I really have got hit with today, and that's this one. HSBC are closing 114 bank branches in the UK. And I think that's pretty abysmal for us older people, because I know many people who do not bank or who do not bank online banking. I don't like the idea. I have used online banking in business contexts, but my personal bank I've never dealt with online. And when HSBC closed their branch, excuse me, in my local town, I actually killed my account with them. I no longer have an account. Well, I no longer have an operating account with them. I do have some dosh left in the bank, but not a great deal. But I moved my main operating account elsewhere because I didn't want to bank with buggers who don't have a branch where I can go and have a chat with people. And I can see here I've made another mistake, but that's all right. I'm just going to type this right now, so you know that this is being done on the spot. We can do stuff directly live as you see us. And if I had another producer to help me, then we'd be doing a lot better. But there you go. Let's put this thing up and say, there we go, look at that. Look, what can you say to that? Okay, that is the date and the detail of today's show. If you've got anything you want to say, you know that I love to hear from you. So please just make a comment on Facebook or on YouTube. Doesn't matter. I will get to see them all. And you can have your moment of fame on the screen as well. So there you go. Don't forget, if you ever want to join me on a show, I really welcome you. You can join via your smartphone, or you can join via a laptop or a tablet or a PC, whatever you've got. You can join me on the show and have your say about something that bugs you. Okay, let's get back to where I was going to go. And that's this one, HSBC closing bank branches. What can we as older people do about this? I do not know, but I'm going to make a suggestion, and I'm going to make this suggestion to a couple of people who try and work on behalf of pensioners, and let's applaud them for that. There's someone called Silver Voices, an organisation called Silver Voices, and there's another organisation called the National Pensioners Convention. And I'm going to approach both of those and say, why can't we persuade banks to actually open effectively FOIA type operations so that they can have maybe one or two, maybe two or three bank cash machines, and they can have a representative who actually works for all the banks in that town. What about that? Is that an idea that they could make work? It would be cheap to do. You could put it in the post office. You could put it in a major store or anything like that, and it could actually work as being a focal point for people who do not want to not have a bank to go into. And that would include me. I would certainly be there looking to get banking normal services. So I'd pay a check in without faffing about by going to the post office or going somewhere else or doing something else. All of these things are unnecessary, and banks should actually be catering to their customers, not merely catering to their profits. Okay, let's get back to where I should be on my little plan. The trouble is that, like a lot of people who do this kind of thing, I have a little plan, then I go somewhere else. But there you go. Okay, what else are we going to talk about? Three more things, in fact. The first one is this one. This is one I have to say that really is kind of getting to me. Ambulance staff, I think, in absolute terms, are heroes. I've been unfortunate enough myself to go into hospital 3 times this last summer gone by. And each time I went by ambulance, the ambulance crews were exceptional. On the first time, I thought I was completely losing my marbles, and Dot thought I was losing my marbles, and the actual ambulance paramedics and the hospital staff were brilliant, but the ambulance paramedics did an exceptional job, got me into hospital, were really nice, were really understanding, and they were all there for me. It's amazing how they work. And on 2 further occasions, I was also taken in by ambulance as well with exactly the same problem. There you go. Hopefully I've got over it now, but I believe that those emergency service workers deserve whatever we can afford to pay them. That sounds silly, doesn't it, I think? But I feel very strongly that the guys and girls who do this job do an amazing job. I think they do a superb job. They come under all sorts of pressure and all sorts of problems are thrown in their face, and they deal with them with aplomb. They don't have a problem. They get on and they do it, and they sort you out. And I am just so impressed with ambulance crews. So let's say they need to be looked after, and we need to actually make sure there are enough of them. Okay, so that's one. And here's the other group who I'm a big fan of, mostly for the same reason, really, because they look after you when there's something wrong with you. For God's sake, what more can you ask? Again, I was in hospital 3 times. I think most of you who watch my shows know that I'm chatty and fairly friendly. And in reality, I had a great time in hospital because the people would talk to you and tell you what happened. And they also had a little bit of a social interaction with you. And they were kind and generous. What more can you say? Okay, so let's push those as well and say, we need to sort out paramedics. We need to sort out nurses properly, so they are properly valued and properly paid in our society. We have an issue here, don't we, which is that governments don't want to pay anybody anything because, above all, I think it's a Tory government, and they have this issue with paying anyone who's a working person a decent salary. What more can you say to that? Okay. And my final little kind of bit today is this one, which is that the pension age could rise to 68 sooner than forecast. And that would be really because, according to the government, they can't afford to pay us our pensions. The reality, I think, is that we should be getting a better pension and ministers should be getting considerably less because they're not doing much of a job. Well, that's a little update on what's happening in the world. So we're looking at, we'll come back to this one with a proper post that will tell you more about age concerns for this coming Christmas and for people of our age who are lonely and alone, which really shouldn't be happening, should it? We'll be coming back to talk about banks. I would like to have your experiences, if you would be so kind, as to what's happening with your bank, with any other banks. Don't forget, you can get in touch with me and the show. Here we go. Anytime that you want to, I would love to hear from you. I really, really would. The more people who get in touch, the better, because we can do a little shout about it. Okay, and let's see, we've got the ambulance guys. And finally, this little story, which is not going to affect me or you if you're pensioners like me, but it is going to affect the upcoming generation. And it's a little bit of a warning note, because people are going to be retiring maybe at 67 or 68 sooner than expected. Do bear in mind at the same time, lifespans, our expected lifespans, are currently shortening, not lengthening. I understand that women's lives are on average 3 months shorter than they were a few years ago, and that men's lives are 4 months shorter than they were a few months ago. Take that one and think about it. There you go. So that's an update today from the Old Geezers show. I'm glad that I've been able to speak to you. I'm sorry no one's come back to me. Don't forget, it's always nice from my point of view when we're live to actually hear from you. And the more you get in touch, the better, and the more I like it. There you have it. Okay. I'm Chris. This is the Old Geezers Show on Thursday, the 1st of December. If you've been watching and you've found it interesting, share this with your friends. Tell your friends there's some old geezer rabbiting on who might be amusing to watch or to listen to. There you go. Okay, off we go, and I'll be back. I think I'll be back on Saturday.